What's up, Can Crushers? Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Crushing Cans Podcast Pick'em Show. Today, we're making our fight picks for UFC Fight Island 3, Darren Till versus Robert Whittaker. Before we get into it, though, we're going to go into our contest winners. So we were going to do a drawing once we got to 100 subscribers.
Yep.
We just passed that yesterday. We passed 100 subscribers. We're at 117 right now. So today we're doing our drawing. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be doing that drawing in a little bit. All right, so for the first fight of the night, we start off with the banger, man. So we start off with Nathaniel Wood versus John Castaneda. Nathaniel Wood's from England. He's 16-4. He's 26 years old. He's 5 feet. He's 5 feet 6 inches tall, and he's 3-1 inside of the UFC right now. His opponent, John Castaneda, he actually made his way into the UFC via the Ultimate, or not the Ultimate Fighter, but the Contender Series.
Oh, yeah.
So he competed on the Contender Series. He won a decision there. He's an American. He's 17-4. He's 28 years old, and he's 5 feet 7 inches tall. So tell me what you think about these guys.
Yeah, well, Nathaniel Wood, he's a Brad Pickett guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody knows Brad Pickett.
Yeah. So an interesting thing about that, he came out after one of his fights, and he said that one of his goals in the UFC was to beat all the people that had beaten Brad Pickett.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
I like that. I mean, why not? If you're a protege of somebody, you know,
yeah,
you want to go in and avenge them, right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I think, you know, kind of like Brad Pickett though, he does get a little bit overzealous when he likes to throw. He just he likes to go, man.
Yeah.
He's got a crazy good ground game from what I've seen. But you know, when he fought John Dodson. So if you notice, when he kind of gets blitzing a little bit, he kind of leans in when he throws his punches, and John Dodson recognized that and was able to drop him with it.
Yeah, that was a good match between the two of them.
It was fun.
I felt like he won the first round in that fight. Yep. Second round probably went to Dodson. It was a good fight though. And then they went to the third round, and Dodson ended up catching him and dropping him there. But overall, it was a good fight. I don't take anything away from him for that. But if you look at his wins inside the UFC, he has 3 submission wins right now inside of the UFC. One of them was actually a Performance of the Night award, and that was against Johnny Eduardo. Yep. Most recently, though, he beat Andre Ewell with the submission as well. Yeah. So out of his 16 wins that he has, he's finished 14 of them. He has 8 knockouts and he has 6 submissions. And every single fight that he's won since 2016, he's finished. So he's a finisher. He's always looking to finish. In this fight, though, John Castaneda is the late last minute replacement. Mm-hmm. So originally he was supposed to fight. Nathaniel was supposed to fight Umar Nurmagomedov.
Yeah, Khabib's, is that his cousin?
I don't know. I don't know what the family relation it is, but he was pulled off the card due to Khabib's father passing away. Right. And then they pulled in John Castaneda on short notice to replace him. But I do like a lot of things about Nathaniel. Like we were talking about, he has great movement. He's the former 135-pound champion for Cage Warriors. He's light on his feet. He's got good striking. He started kickboxing when he was 10 years old. He's got good takedowns. He's got great submissions. Obviously, you know, he's got 6 submission wins. 3 of his submission wins coming in the UFC.
His first 3 fights in the UFC all ended by submission.
Yeah. So. Yeah, before he ran into John Dodson.
Yeah.
But what I do like about John Castaneda is a lot of things. He's out there talking to people right now. He's saying, you know, Nathaniel hasn't faced anybody. You know, he's basically talking himself up. He's the #1 ranked bantamweight in Mexico right now. So he has a little bit of a, that's according to Tapology.com. That's where I get that from. But yeah, so he's making his official UFC debut. Where I do run into a problem is, though, since he's been on Dana White's Contender Series, he's gone 3-2. Mm-hmm. So he hasn't really done a lot since then. He's been kind of up and down, and that kind of pushes me a little bit to Nathaniel Wood. I think I already predicted Nathaniel Wood would win that originally before that. But based on the fact that it's a short notice and that he's gone 3-2 since then, I think Nathaniel Wood submits him in the second round.
Yeah, so with John Castaneda, you know, he is making his UFC debut technically. Mm-hmm. After his his Contender Series fight, he ended up in Combate Americas, which is where you're talking about. He went 3-2.
Yes.
One of the things in Combate Americas that I heard one of the commentators talking about when I was watching one of his fights is that he was on his last leg in Combate Americas. They were fed up with him. Apparently, he's got some attitude problems. He missed weight for the championship fight.
Yep.
And one of the other things that she said was that he had turned down a lot of fights. He just wasn't willing to fight at that point. So they were kind of done with him at that point. If he didn't win that last fight, I think it was the Chris Beal fight I actually watched. At that point, he fought Chris Beal.
So that was a while ago.
That was a little bit ago.
Yeah, that was in 2017.
Where was So it was right before the Contender Series. Literally right before. They were talking about if he didn't win that fight, Combate was just gonna send him on a 30-hour bus ride back home, and so that was pretty crazy. And he ended up beating Beal. And Beal was actually on the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah,
he was on Ronda Rousey's team.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he's a name that you can look out for when you're trying to look at the list and see who the guys beat.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, you said you've got
Nathaniel
Wood by submission.
Yep, round 2.
Round 2. So, okay, I think that Castaneda actually looked pretty solid on the ground himself.
Well, he did. He did look solid.
He's looked really solid. And I think
he's got good wrestling, but sorry to cut you off a little bit there. Yeah. But go back to that Contender Series fight. I saw a lot of mistakes there on that ground game. Mm-hmm. And a lot of those mistakes that he was making, Nathaniel Wood is the guy that'll capitalize on those and choke him out.
Should be.
So
we'll find out. But
that's where I got the submission from, was the fact that I saw him make some mistakes on the ground.
I think Wood's still going to get it. I think he's going to take him down. I think we're going to see some ground stuff. But I got Wood winning a 3rd-round TKO via ground and pound.
Ooh, all right.
See, so I think Wood's better on the ground, too.
He's got wicked ground and pound,
too. He does. His ground and pound looks
this
great.
guy...
He's fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say where he's going to line up in the UFC, but he's definitely a guy that'll stick around for a long time. You know, even if he doesn't make it to the top 10, he'll be a guy like a Francisco Trinaldo who fights later on tonight, who's had like 20 fights in the UFC. You know, because
similar to Brad Pickett, himself.
Yeah.
Just up and down, just taking fights and fights.
Well, I don't want to say up and down. I just think that he's going to have a long career in the UFC.
Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be
based on his style.
He looks like a fun fighter for sure.
Yeah, no,
we both
like
have Wood winning.
Yep, we have Wood winning. So then we go on to the next one. That's Ramazan Emeev versus Nicholas Stoltz. This one right here is kind of a difficult match right here on this one. So Ramazan Emeev, he's from Russia. He's 18-4. He's 5 feet 10 inches tall, and he's 3-1 in the UFC. All of his wins come by decision. Then, if you look at Nicholas Stoltz is coming in as a last-minute replacement. Mm-hmm. He's known as the Green Mask. When he comes out to his fights, oftentimes you'll see him wearing like a green mask. He's from Germany. He's 12-3. He's 27 years old, and he's 6 feet tall. He's making his UFC debut. Like I said, it's a short notice fight. Tell me what you think about these guys.
So, if you go back to the Terry Brazier fight,
for which fighter?
For Nicholas Stoltz.
Okay.
You'll see that Stoltz gets put on his back a little bit.
Yes.
Quite a bit, if you want to be real. And Emeev, he likes to put him on the mat. Seems to be able to take a shot from what I've seen. Gets hit a little bit going in to take the shot. His hands have gotten a little bit better over his last few fights. But, it's just one of those things again. He's not much of a finisher in terms of his UFC competition. So, I mean, he had 10 finishes before. Was it 10? 10, 7 submissions, 3 knockouts before he came into the UFC. Now he's in the UFC. All 4 fights have gone to a decision. Even the one that he did lose to Anthony Rocco Martin.
Yes. So, and that was a good fight, too.
Good fight, yeah.
That was a really good fight.
And,
I like that fight.
Sam Alvey. That's a good win right there, in my opinion.
That is a very good
I'm a Sam Alvey fan.
Yeah.
So the way I see it, I just not enough on Stoltz. What I did look like, when I was looking at Stoltz, he likes to throw a volume on the feet before it even goes to the ground. But he's almost reckless when he does it.
Very reckless.
Very
reckless.
He doesn't care. He just gets hit. The thing is he's never been finished either.
Well, and he's got wicked striking.
He does. His striking's pretty good.
He's got wicked striking. He can hit some people, and I'm super excited to watch him come over. I wish that it wasn't a short notice fight,
Mm-hmm.
and I wish it wasn't against Ramazan Emeev because that guy's on a tear.
Yeah.
and so I don't like the fact that he's fighting him. But when I was studying this fight right here, and I was studying Nicholas Stoltz and watching his videos online, I was kind of excited about it. If this fight stays on the feet, which Ramazan does like to stay on the feet a little bit sometimes. Ramazan's not the most technical striker, but
if he gets popped, he's going to go to the ground.
He'll come in and he'll stay on the feet and he'll throw, and he's done that a little bit. But if it stays on the feet and Stoltz is able to stop that takedown, I don't think that it's going to happen.
Me neither.
But this could be an exciting fight because Stoltz has some fun striking to watch.
Yeah, he looks like another one of those fun fighters.
Fun striking
sure.
to watch.
But
but
who
like
do you got?
Well, the problem is, for me, Ramazan's way too experienced. He's a 6-time M1 champion.
Mm-hmm.
He's got 8 decision wins. He's got 7 submissions, and he has 3 knockouts, right?
He's a Sambo world champion.
Yeah, he's a Sambo world champion. So he's a guy
He's another one of those Dagestani grinders.
that you don't really want to be taken down to the ground against. Nicholas, like I was talking about, he's 17-3 as a kickboxer.
Mm-hmm.
So he has kickboxing experience. He has 5 submissions himself. He's got 3 knockouts. Interesting, he has more submissions than he has knockouts
I know.
when he's a
Pretty
striker. So I'm a little bit curious how that's going to play out in the fight. I did see him threatening as soon as he was getting taken down to the ground in his fights. He was immediately threatening.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that Ramazan Emeev is going to be able to shut him down and submit him in the second round.
Okay, you got him going submission. See, I don't know that it's... My thing is, you know, with the UFC competition, we haven't seen him finish anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But is Nicholas UFC competition? We're going to find out.
Well, so the other thing about it that I noticed on his, he lost to a fighter. One of the fighters that he lost to on there, his name was not Chris Stringer. His name was, let me see. Yeah, Chris Stringer. So he lost to Chris Stringer. Chris Stringer was 11-12. 11-12-1 as a professional fighter. So he has more losses than he does wins, and he was able to come out and win a decision over Stoltz, and that's kind of one of the things that really pushed me away from him when it comes to what's going to happen on the ground and all that stuff. So
yeah, I have just to get into it, I've got Emeev winning a decision here. I don't know that he's going to pick up that first UFC finish just yet, because I do like what I see from Stoltz. I think it's going to be another decision win for Emeev.
I like what I see from Stoltz. I just don't know if he's ready for it.
Yeah.
I just don't know. Now we move on to the next fight. This one is Chimaev versus Pannie at 135 pounds. Chimaev is the only fighter on the undercard that is ranked. She's the number 13 ranked 135-pound girl in the UFC right now. And she is 11-4. She's from Brazil. She's 37 years old right now. So she's getting up there in age, and she's 5 feet 5 inches tall. She's 5-4-1 in the UFC. And she's going against Pannie, who is from Iran, who's 12-5. She's 28 years old. She's 5 feet 7 inches tall, and she's 5-2 in the UFC, including her time on The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
So if you're going to take out The Ultimate Fighter, you have to take away 2 of those wins there. She was a finalist on The Ultimate Fighter, and then she most recently beat Jessica Rose Clark by decision.
It was a fun fight, too.
Yeah, it was fun. Tell me what you think about these girls.
I'm not a big Chimaev fan at all, so I'm not too excited about this fight. I am excited to see Pannie, but talk about a little bit. She has 2 wins in her last 7 fights. Mm-hmm. So how the hell is she ranked? Is that just how bad the UFC 135 women's division is?
No, I think that it just goes down to the fact that she was a former title challenger, and the fact that recently in her last fight, she won against Sijara Eubanks. Mm-hmm. So Sijara is a girl that they were promoting as potentially a top 5 girl. And I think that the plan was to have her send Chimaev packing. Because if you have another one of those performances where she goes on to lose again there,
yeah,
I mean, it's time to send her home. She's getting up there in age.
She's not exciting.
I mean, that fight was exciting, though.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know. She doesn't throw with a lot of volume, and that's one of my problems with her. She doesn't seem like she's super skilled anywhere, but she's skilled enough to hang. So, I mean, I don't know. If you look at her record, you know, she knocked out by Ronda Rousey, knocked out by Holly Holm.
So she was knocked out by Ronda Rousey in 34 seconds as well.
Ronda just blitzed her.
But the whole reason she got that title fight in the first place, she built her name up around the idea of knocking off the four horsemen, four horsewomen, right? So she goes out there, she beats Jessamine Duke. Then she goes out there and she knocks out, was it Shayna Baszler? Yeah, Shayna Baszler. And afterwards, she's holding up her hands. She puts down the fingers, you know. Yeah. She got that call out right there. So the UFC was able to use that as like a marketing scheme. And they're like, boom, all right, we can sell it. Ronda Rousey was trying to hide from that fight against Cyborg and Holly Holm. And she was telling everybody, no, Betch is the next one. Betch is the next one. So they ended up doing that fight. From then on, Betch has always had that name to her. The former title contender. The person that was knocking off the four horsewomen. Then she beats Sijara Eubanks, who was looking like she was going to be a killer there for a little while. Yeah. She has a purple belt. In 2016, she had a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. So I imagine that it's gotten
I would hope so.
higher by now, at least a brown belt. Well, I don't want to say at least a brown belt. I doubt she'd be a black belt if she was in 2016 a purple belt.
2019, she did get tapped out via armbar.
Yeah, I mean, it happens, though. We see black belts get submitted all the time, though.
Oh, yeah.
So, so then let's talk about Pannie real quick for a little bit. So, Pannie, she's a Swedish national shoot fighting champion. She placed second 1 year in the national tournament, and then the following year she came back to win it and take first and beat the girl that actually beat her the prior year. So, she's a shoot fighting national champion. She's the former Cage Warriors women's 135-pound champion. She competed in Invicta, where she beat Jessica Rose Clark the first time they fought. Then she moves on to the UFC. She's got 2 knockouts. She has 9 decisions. I like the way that she's light on her feet, and she has a good jab. I think that she's going to be able to use that and pop it out there a lot. If she really needs to, she can be the bull and pressure you against the cage. We've seen that a little bit. And it's honestly, it's almost like a similar style as Betch Correia's, but I think it's a little bit crisper and a little bit better, and I think she's a little bit bigger.
I think she's bigger. She definitely has better boxing. That jab.
She started boxing at age 14.
That jab that she pumps out there.
And she had 30 amateur
power.
She had 30 amateur boxing fights.
Yeah.
So she's got good hands, and you're right. She's got
it's
power behind
not
that.
a jab that you would normally see from somebody that's just throwing out a jab, you know, to trying to keep distance, set up the range, whatever. She throws that jab with power.
Yep.
And then she follows it with a nice straight right too. So she's got way better hands.
Yeah.
So for me, you know, and they're quick, dude. They're fast. Everything she too is, like you said, kind of similar to Betch, where she doesn't throw a lot of volume. But I think that's what we're going to see in this fight is not a ton of volume being thrown. But I think her jab is going to be the difference.
That's the key to victory. That's what I think as well.
And that's why I have Pannie by decision.
So, you know what? That's a perfect one for us because I have Pannie by decision.
Hey, there we go.
I think that it's going to be just that. I think that she's going to jab her. And if it gets to a point where Betch is starting to threaten her, she's going to pressure her against the cage, and she's going to do a really good job of pinning her off on the cage.
Yeah.
It's a similar thing that Betch does. Betch definitely has the better body shots, though. I think that is going to be one of the things that might change it to a cage fight there, to where they're pressuring themselves up against the cage, is if those body shots start getting landed in the open, then maybe we'll have Pannie trying to pressure it and take those body shots away. Because I think that that's really the only advantage that Betch has over her is those body shots.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, I just don't see. I think it's a lot closer than what we probably make it sound like right now.
Well, the betting lines now, so there is no real favorite. Yeah, it's about even.
Near even?
Yeah, it's about even.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, I think it's a lot closer than what we're thinking or what it seems like we might be promoting right now. We just both really like that boxing from Pannie.
We do like that boxing from Pannie, and there's a few other things to it as well. I was really kind of not sold on the idea of her fighting Ronda Rousey in the first place because there was other girls that were more deserving. And her getting out there and being built up the way that she was based off of the story we told you already, it kind of turned me off to her. I didn't feel like she was ready. I thought that she was a fighter that had the potential to be developed. And they just kind of took her and threw her out there and tried to build up a name. They tried to build up a Ronda Rousey name. Yep. And she was an easy option for them. And she stuck around and continued to fight. And she gets a couple surprising upsets. She has that decision win over Jessica I. And it just kind of made it it makes it a closer fight than people might think.
Yeah.
So that was that fight. We'll see how it goes. It's going to be fun. The next fight that we're going on to, this one's at 265 pounds. This is Rafael Pessoa versus Tanner Boser. Rafael is Brazilian. He's 10-1. He's 31 years old. He's 6 feet 3 inches tall, and he's 1-1 in the UFC. And then he's going against Tanner the Bulldozer Boser, who's Canadian, who's 18-6 or 18-6-1, and he's 28 years old. He's 6 feet 2 inches tall, and he's 2-1 in the UFC. And his last fight in the UFC was a second-round knockout win over Felipe Wins on the recent Poirier versus Hooker card. So he just fought not too long ago. What do you think about these guys?
This one is going to be a knockout finish. And I'll tell you who's going to get there in just a second here. Because Tanner Boser has a killer overhand right. If you've watched any of his fights, he throws a really wicked overhand right. He's a smaller heavyweight, and I know you like the lighter heavyweight guys. I think he's about 235, almost pushing it. That's the weight that a lot of light heavies cut down from.
His last weigh-in was at 235 pounds.
So, yeah, there you go.
Yep.
He also utilizes his leg kicks really, really well.
Really good.
If you see him, if you're a guy that's going to just stand there, he's going to use his leg kicks.
Yes.
So why not? One thing you'll notice is that both of these fighters right here share a similar loss to Cyril Gane.
Yep.
Cyril Gane.
Yep.
Boser went the distance with him.
Yep.
While Pessoa was finished by him.
Yes.
I think what's a round 2 submission that he was finished by? I think it was. Let me check real quick.
He got choked out cold. I don't remember what round it was. It
round 1. It was 4. So in the 5th minute of round 1.
But that was a competitive fight up until that point.
Yeah.
That was a competitive fight.
So with Pessoa, I wasn't really too impressed with him. The one thing I was impressed with him about is for a bigger guy, because he carries kind of a little bit of flab on there for a heavyweight.
Yeah.
He seemed to be able to move pretty well.
Yeah, that's what? That's one of my notes.
He throws a lot of spinning kicks and stuff like that, and he throws. I think it might be his downfall if it doesn't get out of the first round, or if it goes past the first round, is he puts everything into his punches.
Yeah.
He doesn't pace himself at all in that sense. So
no. So
that's what I've got on Pessoa.
His one win is over Jeff Hughes by decision in the UFC. He does have 6 knockouts. Mm-hmm. So he's put some people to sleep. He has 1 submission win. It's not his bread and butter.
No.
But he does have 3 decision wins. Like you were talking about, he's light on his feet. I like the way he moves. I like the way he bounces in and out. It's almost a little bit karate style. But then if you look at Tanner Boser, it is karate.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. This was kind of a hard fight for me to pick, to be honest. I was looking at it because I think that Pessoa is flying a little bit under the radar there. He's flying under the radar. He's a big guy who moves well. Part of my problem with bigger guys is they just don't move as well as the littler guys. They're slower, they're stiffer, they don't have the reflexes to bounce in and out. But Pessoa does all that. The problem is, so does Tanner Boser.
Yeah,
right.
And Boser's smaller version, and I think he does it better.
Well, yeah, he does. And actually, sorry.
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
But with what we're talking about with Pessoa is he throws everything into his punches.
Yeah.
So if he does land clean, Boser's going to sleep.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and here's the other thing about him. Boser just fought.
Yeah, he did recently.
So he just fought 2 weeks ago?
I think it was
Poirier versus Hooker.
It was about a month ago, June 27th.
June 27th?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, gosh, damn.
That was already a month.
Coronavirus. So he fought about a month ago, and he's already fighting again. So he's already in shape. He's doing a good job. He knows what to expect from all this stuff. He's been through the whole situation of dealing with the coronavirus thing, so he has that experience. Yep. You going out there on a fight where it's a short notice fight, basically everybody's got short notice fights here. Some are more short notice than others, but if you're going out there for your first time like Rafael is, it's going to be a different experience. Mm-hmm. A lot of people aren't happy with the experience. A lot of people aren't adjusting well to the experience. You hear some people talking about how it's been difficult for them. You hear others talking about how they were more prepared for it. Having the experience of already doing it is going to be a big edge up for Tanner Boser there.
Well, he's also only been knocked out 1 time in his entire career.
Yep.
You know who that was too?
Who was that one to?
Tim Hague. Early on in his career.
I liked him.
Early on in his
career. I
career.
haven't seen him in a long time.
No, this was back in 2015.
Jeez.
Tanner Boser got knocked out by Tim Hague in 6 seconds.
Oh, well, see, something like that, though,
he just got caught.
Yeah, you just got caught. But, you know, if you look at what he does do, Tanner Boser's a black belt in karate.
Yeah.
He's a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's a 5-time unified MMA heavyweight champion. He's got 9 knockouts to his record. He's got 7 decisions. We talked about his good kicks that he has. He has really good kicks. He's light on his feet. He has a really good overhand right, too.
Yeah.
You know, he'll catch those people coming in, and he does a really good job coming right over the top.
That's what I was saying earlier. You know, in this one, his overhand right is wicked.
It is wicked. So he's got that wicked overhand right. The thing about it is I just don't know that it's going to be enough to put away Rafael, and I'm going with the decision. So I got I've got Tanner Boser by decision.
See, my thing here is when we look at the, these are kind of all prospects in the UFC heavyweight division, right?
Yeah.
Cyril Gane is probably the top prospect in the UFC heavyweight division right now.
Yes.
He's a phenomenal kickboxer.
He's a monster.
And he couldn't put Boser away.
No.
So that kind of, I don't think that, I mean, it's the heavyweight division. It only takes one shot. But if Gane...
that's why I went with decision.
If Gane couldn't put Boser away, man, and Boser hasn't been knocked out, and you're talking 5 years, only one time been knocked out. He moves really well. I also have Boser winning, but I've got Boser finishing this fight in the second round.
You think he's going to finish him?
I think...
Wow.
I think Pessoa's going to gas in the first round because he throws everything in those punches.
He does throw hard. That is true.
And I think when it gets to the second round, you're just going to see Boser just lighten him up.
Okay.
And eventually it's going to be done.
All right. I dig it. That'll be fun to see. We'll find out.
Are we so far, have we agreed on the results? Well, essentially the winner of the first 4 fights?
So, for the first 4 fights, let's look back on that real quick.
Wood?
So, I got Wood for the first one.
Emeev?
I got Emeev for the next one.
Pannie.
I have Pannie for the
and
next
Boser.
one. And Boser.
Damn it.
All right.
We're going to need them bonuses to come through.
Yeah, we are. So then we're going to move on to the next one, though. And this one is Movsar Evloev versus Mike Grundy at 145 pounds. Movsar is out of Russia. He's 26 years old. He's 5 feet 7 inches tall. He's 2-0 in the UFC. He's won both of his fights in the UFC by decision. He is the former 135-pound M1 champion. But all of his fights in the UFC have been at 145 pounds. So he's competed at the lighter weight class, and he's moving up right now. Then he's going against Mike Grundy. Mike Grundy is from England. He's 12-1. He's 33 years old. He's 5 feet 7 inches tall. He's 1-0 in the UFC with a TKO win over Nadni Armani, who just fought recently. He's the former Aspara FC 145-pound champion. And, let's get into it. What do you think?
Well, Evloev is another one of those guys that in one of his fights, I believe I heard him say he was a Tiger Muay Thai guy as well. So, his striking's obviously good.
Yep.
And one thing I was impressed with, though, is he had really good wrestling, too.
Yes, he does.
It seems to be a common theme when you get a lot of those Russian guys, Dagestani, Eastern European.
I think in general with that Tiger Muay Thai team, because it's called Tiger Muay Thai.
But they have good wrestling skills.
They have world championship caliber wrestling coaches there for the team. So these guys, they might go there as just strikers or just wrestlers beforehand, but they come out well-rounded mixed martial artists.
Yeah. So I mean, he's also got a lot of power in his jabs, kind of like Pannie. He throws a phenomenal jab. If you look at him though, when he does go to get those takedowns and stuff, he doesn't really move his head too much for a guy with good striking, which is kind of weird because he's willing to take those shots.
Yeah.
And then with Grundy, he's a boxer, man.
Yeah, he's fun.
If you look at his stance, he keeps his hands up real nice and tight, and he kind of reminds me of like a really small Mike Tyson the way he throws his hands. I
really like Mike Grundy.
I like Grundy too. When I was looking at both of their videos, man, it was really hard for me to pick the winner of this fight.
Well, when I first started studying this, I was looking automatically. I'm like, oh, Movsar's got this. Movsar's got this.
So I picked Movsar first,
and I started studying it, and I'm like, gosh, I don't know. This is closer than I thought. So I start looking at it, and I was thinking about the wrestling of Movsar, and I was like, man, that's going to be the biggest thing right there. Then I learned that Mike Grundy knows how to wrestle.
He's
a freestyle wrestler.
Yep.
Right? So he's a bronze medalist in the Commonwealth Games. And he's a European no-gi jiu-jitsu champion. He has a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. So he's not someone that you want to take, you want to sit there and take for granted on the ground.
No.
You know, so he has 8 submission wins there.
He can hang.
Most of his wins are by submissions. He only has 1 knockout. You know, we're talking about how good his hands are, but he only has 1 knockout.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I was watching his fight, and I was super excited about him. But this is a difficult one, because if you look at Masvidal, he has 5 wins by decision, 4 wins by submission, 3 by knockout, and you know, he's been able to finish people anywhere or fight the distance or do whatever he has to do to win. He's just been an overall tough guy. What I am curious about with him is he was supposed to fight Jamal Emmers before UFC 248, and he was riding on a motorcycle and he got hit by a car. That ended up pulling him off of the fight, and he hasn't fought since then. So I looked at the pictures of some of his injuries from that car accident. It didn't look too bad.
Yeah.
But, you know, what you can see versus what you actually feel on the inside could be a lot different. I got in a car accident back in 2015, and it took me about a year to get back to being healthy where I was at and good, and I didn't look nearly as bad as him. I wonder if that plays effect into this fight.
It's going to be interesting because Grundy hasn't fought since March 2019.
Yep.
And Masvidal hasn't fought since October 2019.
Yes.
So both these guys are coming off pretty long layoffs.
It's going to be a fun fight.
So, but either way, this is my first pick for fight of the night. This is my fight of the night alert.
Like
bing, bing, bing.
I like it. I like it. I have right here written in my notes, fun fight.
Yeah, man. And
I love these fun fights.
For me, I've got Grundy winning a very, very close decision.
Ooh, you know what? I got Mike Grundy winning by submission.
Okay.
Like I said, you know, he's skilled on the ground.
Yeah, they both.
Masvidal's going to take him down.
This is true.
He's going to take him down because Grundy's got those hands. Mm-hmm. He's going to hit him a little bit, and Masvidal, he kind of gets a little wild on those feet, or on the feet.
And he
starts swinging, and that's the problem because he's wild. And then what Grundy's going to do is he's going to capitalize on Masvidal getting wild. He's going to hit him a few times. Masvidal is going to shoot in and try to take him down. From there, Grundy's going to end up submitting him. It's going to go to the second round because Masvidal is tough, and Grundy's going to have to wear him out a little bit.
There you go.
So that's why I say second round. So that's
Another
what I'm thinking.
Where
but
we're both in agreement.
That's yeah. We don't have one separate yet.
No. We might now. Let's see.
Well, so then we move on to Jake Collier versus Tom Aspinall at 265 pounds. This fight was originally scheduled for March 21st, but due to COVID, things got changed. Jake Collier is American. He's 11-4. He's 31 years old. He's 6 feet 3 inches tall, and he's 3-3 in the UFC. And he's fighting Tom Aspinall from England, who's 7-2. One of his losses comes due to an illegal strike to the back of the head in a fight that he was winning. So, you know, you can take that how it is, however you want to take it. But, you know, he's 7-2 overall. He's 27 years old. He's 6 feet 5 inches tall, so he's a tall dude. But he is making his UFC debut with experience in Bama and Cage Warriors.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, immediately when I looked at Aspinall's record and then I went and clicked on the names of all the guys that he beat, Can Crusher alert came to my mind.
Yes.
You look at the guys, I mean, he was 7-8 wins. So
My Can Crusher right there.
Yeah, so we got our Can Crusher alert, our first Can Crusher alert of the night right here.
Yeah.
But we've talked about it before. We got to look at the guys and we can't take away from their skill set just because they fought cans. I actually liked what I saw from Aspinall in those fights. Yeah. He's another big heavyweight who moves really well.
There's a good group of them on this card.
Yeah. And, you know, with Collier, he likes to throw some leg kicks.
He's
but
wild.
But go ask Bukachu how those leg kicks were when he tried to kick Aspinall. He Anderson Silva'd him.
Yeah.
Broke his leg on Aspinall's shin.
And the only problem that I have with that win is that's the best guy that he's beaten.
Yeah.
You know, so we talk about Can Crusher's the best guy he beat, threw a leg kick and broke his own leg.
Yeah.
So that doesn't take away from him again, because I'm going to talk a little bit more about his accomplishments right now.
Yeah.
Tom Aspinall, he's 2010 BJJ British champion in no-gi. He's
wrestler,
also
too.
2011 British champion in gi. He's a Northwest Junior Open or Northwest Open Super Heavyweight champion. He's a BJJ Manchester Open Heavyweight champion. He's the former AFC Heavyweight champion. Like, he's solid.
Yeah, he looks. That's what I'm saying. He looks like he's got what I saw skill-wise from him in those fights.
Yeah,
he looks legit.
Good. He's just crushed some cans.
Yeah.
So.
And then when you get to Jake Collier, yeah, he's 3-3 in the UFC. But let's also remember, he fought down as low as 185.
185.
Then he moved up to 205, and he kind of looked small at 205. Looked a little flabby. Looked like he could actually still fight at 185.
Yep.
But he didn't like cutting weight. Now he's fighting all the way up at heavyweight. And he looks, I just think he's going to be way too small.
Yeah.
You know, he kind of was wild like you had mentioned. I didn't really see anything that stuck out to me in terms of his fighting style. He just kind of looked like he was okay everywhere, not great anywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think he may be 6'3", but he just looked too small to me, man. And he's fighting a guy in Aspinall who has really strong power, really good power in his hands. He's a good wrestler. Obviously, he's got good BJJ credentials.
Yep.
Moves really well for a much bigger guy. I just don't know where Collier can win this. What do you got for Collier?
Well, so here's the problem that I have with Collier. So he's never put together back-to-back wins in the UFC.
Nope.
He's coming off of a win right now, 3-3. If the pattern continues, he's definitely losing. But looking at the guy that he's fighting, I have a problem with even trying to give Jake any chance anywhere.
Yeah, it's tough. Aspinall looks like the real deal.
At first I was looking at his record on Aspinall and I was kind of thinking, I don't know, maybe a little bit of a can crusher here. He's 7-2, and I'm sitting there looking and I'm trying to figure it out because some of those guys that he fought against didn't look that good. And I'm looking, watch his record right here.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any very good wins except for the Sofyan Bukachaw one, or Bukachaw one that we already talked about. So it makes it very hard. I mean, I want to see what he does in the UFC. Overall, though, I stuck with him.
Yeah, I've got him winning by knockout in round 1.
I mean, based off of all the accomplishments there, I got him by knockout round 1 as well.
Yeah, I just don't see how 185er is going to go up. We're not talking about another Rumble Johnson who was cutting from 230 down to 170.
Yep.
You know, Rumble Johnson was cutting 50, 60 pounds to get down to try to be this giant monster versus small guys.
Yes.
We're talking about a legit dude who's probably a 185er, maybe could even fight down to 170 if he wanted to tighten up his body a little bit.
If he wanted to, yep.
He went up to 205 and looked small at 205. I could just only imagine what he's going to look like against Aspinall.
Yeah, it's just crazy because if you look at his body, like I've got a picture pulled up right here from his older days. Like he was
when
ripped.
He was actually at 185.
Yeah, and he was ripped, and he looks like the prospect. That's his name is the prospect.
Yep.
And he actually looks like a prospect there.
Yeah.
Now he looks like
I don't know what happened.
I don't know. Yeah,
but
a lot of things happen.
Aspinall knockout round 1. Let's go.
Ooh, I like it, man. We're the same on everything so far.
Getting a little irritated here.
So the next fight on the card is Nicholas Dalby versus Jesse Ronson at 170 pounds. Nicholas Dalby's from Denmark. He's 18-3-1. He's 35 years old. He's 5 feet 11 inches tall. And he's 2-3-1 in the UFC, so he has 2 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw. That draw is actually against Darren Till.
Yep.
Darren Till.
It's a good draw.
So this is his second stint in the UFC right now. He's 1-0 since returning, and that's a decision win over Alex Oliveira. And he goes against Jesse Ronson. Jesse Ronson's the Canadian. He's 21-10. He's 34 years old. He's 5 feet 10 inches tall. He's 0-3 in the UFC if you look back at 2014. And now he's also starting his second stint in the UFC. Tell me what you think about these guys.
This is another interesting fight. You know, I say that all the time. We've got interesting fights because both these guys are on their second stints in the UFC. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, you already mentioned that he went to a draw with the headliner for the card tonight. You know, Darren Till. If you can go to a draw with Darren Till, you probably got a pretty solid chin and just to be there because you know Till's going to pop you and pop you hard. With Ronson, I didn't really know too much about him. I mean, I looked at his record and stuff. He just seemed like an okay striker to me.
He's got some decent striking. He's got sneaky power in there.
Sneaky power.
He doesn't look like he throws very hard.
No.
But every time he connects, it looks like it hits hard.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It looks like he's barely throwing it out there, but every time he hits these guys, they're just like bouncing around.
Yeah. It just seemed there, and he did go 0-3 in his first stint in the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
And overall, I just really wasn't too impressed with him. I wasn't really impressed too much with Dalby either, but, I was more impressed with the competition and how far he was able to go with the competition that he fought.
So I like Dalby. He's got another good story. Sometimes I talk about how I like their stories. He's a guy that was dealing with a bunch of depression and other stuff that was causing him a lot of mental problems, and he had a lot of self-confidence issues coming into the UFC as a big prospect, and people expected really good things from him, and he just wasn't really performing to that level. After his last fight, he was super excited about it. He says, "I'm confident now. I feel good about myself now." So we have a new Dalby out here. We have a guy that went through the UFC, dealt with the hard times. He got cut, had to earn his way back, and now he's here and he doesn't want to let that opportunity slip away again.
It's a good mindset to have.
I think that he's just ready for it. I think that he's going to come out vicious. You have to understand also, he's the former interim champion at 170 pounds for Cage Warriors. He is also the former actual 170-pound champion for Cage Warriors. He's the former European MMA 170-pound champion as well. He's a karate-style fighter. You're gonna see a lot of head kicks, a lot of light movement on his feet.
Too.
Yeah, he'll spin around, twist around a little bit. He has a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt, so he's well versed in the ground. I like watching him when he's working against the cage and pressuring guys on the cage and kind of controlling them there. It gives him the ability to finish a fight anywhere or fight anywhere. He has 8 decision wins on his record. He has 6 knockouts, and he has 4 submissions. So overall, right now on Tapology, he's the slight favorite. But then he's going against, Jesse Ronson, who we were talking about. Jesse Ronson, he does have that sneaky power. He has 9 knockouts to his record, and he also has 8 submissions. So this is a guy you can't take for granted. There is another problem that he has, though. He has 7 decision losses.
Yep.
So if it goes to decision, he oftentimes loses a lot. But he is also a former champion in another regional promotion. He actually was a 2-weight champion at lightweight and welterweight for TKO MMA.
Yeah.
So he did that stuff. He's a kickboxing style fighter. I just think that Nicholas Dalby's in a better place right now. I think that Nicholas Dalby's a little bit more skilled, and I think he's knocking him out in the second round.
Yeah, see, I do agree that Dalby's better. I think he's just a little bit better. I don't know if he's that much better. I do have Dalby winning as well as 95% of Tapology picks have him winning. There's been 1,008 picks on Tapology, and 95% of them are for Dalby.
And that's so crazy.
So, but I mean, I've got Dalby winning a decision here. I think he's not. I think he's better. We were both agreeing there. I just think that Ronson is going to be able to hang with him right there, and I think he's going to be able to hang on the ground. I think he's going to be able to hang on the feet. Yeah. I just think that you're going to see Dalby's going to be a little bit quicker. He might catch him. He might put him to sleep. We'll find out. Yeah. But I just think it's going to be another war, and it's going to a decision.
All right. Well, I like it. Let's try to mix it up here a little bit. So I don't want to have all the same picks as you.
I know, right?
I'm not changing my picks.
I'm not changing mine.
You don't have to change your picks. 4, 5, 6, but 7. What we're doing right now is we're going on to the last the last fight on the undercard. Let's see if we can get this one different right here.
Let's find out.
This next fight is Francisco Trinaldo versus Jai Herbert at 155 pounds. Francisco, he's a Brazilian. He's 25-7. He's 41 years old. He's 5 feet 9 inches tall, and he competed on the Ultimate Fighter Brazil, and since then he's gone 15-6 inside of the UFC octagon. Yeah. So he's one of the most experienced guys out there that you can see, but he's going against Jai Herbert, who's from England, who's 10-1. He's 32 years old, and he's 6 feet 1 inches tall and currently on a 6-fight win streak. Tell me what you think about these guys.
So it's really, really hard because every time I've picked against Trinaldo, it's failed me. Every time I've picked for Trinaldo, it's failed me.
I know.
So I've never been successful picking a Trinaldo fight in years.
Yep.
So it's another time where I'm just like, God damn it, Like I don't want Trinaldo on this card because I can't pick his fights.
Well, I never get him right on him either way. You
Yeah.
can't doubt him because of his age, because he never seems to let his age slow him down even.
No, he's like a small, the damn Cuban wrestler.
The one we always
The
forget
tree
his
trunk.
name.
Yeah, he grew roots. Yoel Romero.
Yoel Romero.
Because Yoel Romero's what, 42, 41, 42?
He's up there.
But no, so with Trinaldo, he's obviously 41 years old, like we said. He still has really good cardio for an old man.
Dan Henderson said that he felt
Real
best
good
at 39.
cardio. Yeah.
He said he felt that was his best year of fighting was when he was age 39. So
Yeah, that's crazy. And he still throws with a lot of power.
Yeah.
He's good just about everywhere.
Yep.
Being a vet, he's real patient and knows how to pick his shots now, kind of at the later ages. You won't see him blitz like he used to, but you'll see
it a little bit.
You'll still see little spurts of it.
Yes.
He used to be a mad dog, man. But now he seems to be a little bit more conservative with his throwing to try to help keep his cardio go later if he needs to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's still a good fighter, man. And then when we get to Jai Herbert, I really liked his stand-up.
Yes.
I was looking at some of his videos, and his stand-up was really fun.
It's solid, and it's fun. It is exciting.
He has 4 straight knockout wins.
Yep.
So, I mean, we're going there, and I believe he's making his UFC debut.
He is making his UFC debut.
It's a tough debut. You're fighting a guy like Trinaldo who's not an easy out.
It is a rough debut.
Yeah.
But, so let's talk a little bit more about Francisco Trinaldo and Jai Herbert a little bit deeper. So, Francisco Trinaldo, we all know his story, but he's a black belt in kickboxing as well.
Yep.
He's a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's riding a 2-fight win streak. He's got wins over Bobby Green and John McDessie. Those are 2 pretty good wins.
Yeah.
Other notable wins that he has, though, are Paul Felder and Jim Miller. Those are also a couple other really good wins for him. So if you want to look at the caliber of opponent, Francisco Trinaldo's definitely got it. If you want to look at who he's beat and who's got the caliber there, that goes to Francisco Trinaldo there.
Oh, absolutely.
The only loss that Jai Herbert has is to Reese McKee,
who fights the next fight.
Fights the next fight, and he's also making his UFC debut. They had a good first round there when they fought. Jai was actually winning that fight. Mm-hmm. And then he got caught and he got finished there. It happens. He himself, though, has 8 knockouts.
Yep.
8 knockout wins. He's got 1 submission win. He's got 1 decision win. Like you talked about, he's got good hands. So we know that he's coming to throw hands. And he does have good, crisp striking. He's the former Cage Warriors lightweight champion. So you'll notice, if you listen out here, I'm going to say a lot of times, former Cage Warriors champions. Like, those guys over there are doing it right.
Yeah, they're pumping out some good fighters right now.
Really good fighters. Really good fighters. So my prediction for this, I think that Jai Herbert's going to be able to catch him.
I think so, too.
I did see that. I think that...
Son of a bitch.
Did you fucking got him, too?
You son of a bitch.
So Jai...
God dang it. Well, so we're perfect on the undercard.
You got him by round 2 as well?
Round 2 knockout, baby. Are you round 2 knockout?
Yes, I got round 2 knockout.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna need some of those other fights to go.
That's some funny stuff.
But yeah, so I mean, we both have Herbert by round 2 knockout.
Yeah.
That's pretty wicked. If you look at the community though on Tapology with 1,000 picks, Herbert's actually only has 41% of the picks.
That's crazy.
But about half of those picks have him by knockout.
Yeah. So we got an underdog on this one, though.
Trinaldo has the advantage in terms of the picking. He's at 59%. The majority of them are picking Trinaldo to win by decision.
Yeah.
And Vegas actually has Trinaldo as a -160 favorite.
All right.
So what we're gonna find out. That's gonna be a fun one.
I might throw some money on Herbert if things look good.
At plus 130, that might not be a bad deal to put a little bit on.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not too. It's not. I don't think that the fight. I think that Jai Herbert's going to win the fight.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would do it even if it was a little lower than that too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident that he's going to get the W here. Not trying to take anything away from Trinaldo, but I just think that the new breed's coming up.
Well, Herbert does show good the ability to defend the takedown.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if Trinaldo doesn't like to stand and bang with him and he tries to take it down, Herbert is not a slouch on the ground. He's been able to get back up and he's been able to fight off takedowns. So.
Yep. So, I mean, that was that fight. that's that fight.
You ready to? Is it time to?
It is.
Announce the winner.
Yeah. So before we go into the main card, you guys, we're gonna announce the winner of our drawing. So what we did is we went online to a random name generator. We plugged in all of the names for everybody that qualified, that followed the instructions. They liked, they commented, and they subscribed.
Yep.
They had to like on that video, or they had to like that video and comment on that video. So press that thumbs up button, and we plugged all their names in here. And now we're about to press this pick a random name / winner.
So yeah, go ahead and start that bad boy up, Jake.
All right, let's see. Judith Hoffman.
Judith Hoffman is the winner.
Well, get in contact with us on Facebook. You can find us on our Facebook page, Crushing Cans Podcast. Send us an email there, and we'll get that gift certificate out to you there.
Yeah, just go ahead. You can email us at crushingcanspodcast@gmail.com, or send us a message on Facebook if you like our Facebook page. And if you don't like our Facebook page, you can all go ahead and go like the Facebook page too.
You might as well do that now.
We do most of our interaction does come through Facebook. So
yeah, definitely. You're gonna find us on Twitter as well, Crushing Cans Podcast. Definitely listen to us on Anchor FM / Crushing Cans. Find us on all of our different social media outlets. Take us with you. If you can't watch us, listen to us on the podcast. Bring us with you. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share us with your friends. Help us out. We want to bring you guys good content. We want your advice. Let us know what we can do to be better. Hey, and if we screw up some names, one of the things we really like is when you guys help us pronounce it right.
Yeah, correct us. We don't mind.
Yeah.
We're prone to feedback. I think feedback can only help you grow. So
yeah, we want to be the best at this. So give us some advice if you see something that needs to be done a little bit different.
All right, you ready to move on?
Yeah.
Main card time?
Oh, I'm so excited for this main
card time, baby.
Hey, so like I said, they did it right. So they went to Abu Dhabi. They had Fight Island. This is the final fight on Fight Island right now. I say for right now because there's a decent chance they're probably going to end up coming back. They're doing it with a bang. 15 fights on this card overall. I think there was 7 people who had fought for a world title, including Betch Correa.
Something crazy.
In the top four fights of the 8 people fighting in there, 6 of them had fought for a title and 4 of them had won the title or something like that. It's just crazy. Yeah. So this card, if you're talking about a stacked card, this is a stacked card.
Yeah, I think if you put together a 15 fight card, you better stack it.
Yeah,
because people will lose interest if fights are boring.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Unfortunately,
on paper, anyway.
That's the way that some people look at it. They look at the names. They don't know the names. They do this thing where they kind of, oh, I don't know them. I'm not going to tune in. It's not going to be good because I don't know who they are.
Yeah, that's how you miss a lot of the best fights.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, all those people who didn't tune in to see Conor McGregor for the first time probably wish they would have actually tuned in.
Yeah.
And then they watch the fight later and act like they were there, right? Dang it, I should have relived that experience live because that would have been great. So, but anyway, so let's go on to this next one. So this one is Khamzat Chimaev versus Rhys McKee. Khamzat Chimaev, he's 1-0 in the UFC. He just made his UFC debut a week ago, literally last Wednesday.
July 15th, I think it was.
Yeah, that's crazy. Literally a week ago. Tomorrow it'll be 1 week.
Yeah.
So he literally just fought 1 week ago, and he's already fighting again this Saturday. It works out. He's already in Abu Dhabi. He's already passed all the background checks. He went out there and dominated his last fight.
It's clean.
Yeah, clean. So he's 6 feet 2 inches tall, 26 years old. Now 7-0, and he's Swedish. He's fighting Rhys McKee from Northern Ireland. Rhys McKee is 10-2-1. He's 24 years old. He's 6 feet 1 inches tall. They call him the Skeletor because of how tall he is.
Yeah.
And he's making his UFC debut. Tell me what you think about these guys.
So a week ago, I picked against Khamzat. We just talked about his wrestling capabilities, and he went out there and he displayed his wrestling capabilities. It
took about a second for him to take the guy down.
Yeah, he looked like another Khabib. The way he did it, he just looked, everything looked so similar. It was crazy.
Oh, yeah. A beautiful takedown right at the beginning. He shot in, I think it was a double leg and turned into a single leg. And then he switched it back to a double leg or something. But he just stayed on that takedown until he got him down, much like Khabib does when Khabib grabs a hold of somebody and just kind of tries to rag him down until he can get him down.
Yeah.
That was a super exciting. I liked that whole fight.
It was.
You know, even though it was really one-sided and Hamzat was just sitting on top of him.
Yeah, Hamzat just pummeled him, man.
Yeah, just punishing him before he decided. When he decided that he wanted to submit him is when he submitted him. He probably could have done it earlier.
Yeah.
It was just kind of a thing when it was like, okay, I'm done beating you up right now. I'm going to submit you. That's what it kind of felt like to me watching that fight. Rhys McKee, though, you know, he's not bad. He's a he's the former Bama lightweight champion. Mm-hmm. He's also got experience in Cage Warriors. He's got good hands. He's got a long body. Tell me what you think about these guys.
So with McKee, you know, he has finished all 10 of his wins.
Yeah.
I think he has 7 knockouts and 3 submissions.
Mm-hmm.
So he seems to be doing okay. He is making his UFC debut. So there's that. You know, he's coming out of Cage Warriors right now.
And they're producing a lot of top talent there.
Yeah,
so.
We were talking about how good how good the quality of competition and fighters are coming out of Cage Warriors.
From top to bottom.
You know, so, and he finished all 3 fights in Cage Warriors.
Yep.
He's finished all of his fights. The only losses he has one to a guy named Tim Barnett who knocked him out, and a loss to Terry Brazier, who is a wrestler.
Yep. But against Tim Barnett, he did get the chance to avenge him, and he beat Tim Barnett to go on and win that Bama championship.
Yep. And that was about 3 fights later.
Yep.
And so, you know, when it comes down to it, he's a good striker.
Yes.
Good striker. He can get put on his back. We saw that.
Well, he leaves himself out of position because he's so long, you know, and he's another guy that just kind of throws with reckless abandonment. Like, he just goes for it, right?
Yeah, he's trying to finish you.
Like, you know, he's finished all of his fights.
Exactly.
He's trying to finish you. So, but it's fun to watch him fight. He's another guy that I think that if he's able to have a good performance here, he'll be sticking around for a while. He's fun. He's exciting. He seems to have a big following on the internet already.
Yep.
So people already know who he is, and those are the type of people you can build into stars.
Absolutely.
I just don't know.
Yeah, my problem is so I went against Hamzat last week.
Yep. And that was a perfect pick for me in that one.
With his wrestling, I don't know. Like we haven't seen enough of Hamzat to really gauge how good he is overall. But he looked fucking good.
He looked really good. And with the fact
against a quality striker.
really good. But the problem for me is McKee just only has 3 submissions. Mm-hmm. He's definitely more comfortable on the feet.
Yep.
Yes, he's got stuff on the ground. I'm not saying he doesn't, but I just don't think it's enough.
It's not the level of Hamzat.
No, Hamzat's up there.
I have Hamzat with a round 1 submission. I think he's gonna get in there, take it down, tap it out. He ain't playing games this time.
All right, I gave it to him at round 2 again.
Okay.
I gave it to him at round 2. I just, you know, the last time I felt like he could have submitted the guy in the first round.
Exactly why I gave it to him in round 1 this time.
I think that he just kind of enjoys it a little bit, being out there. As long as there's no real threat to him, I think he felt comfortable. And then as soon as he felt tired, he's like, I'm going to submit him now. But I don't think that Rhys McKee's bad on the ground.
He's not too bad, but I don't think he's nowhere near the level of Hamzat.
No, but he might be enough to shut it down for 5 minutes. If he can keep that distance, and he's going to know because he has recent footage of what
he does. Everybody knows what Hamzat's going to do.
So we all know that Hamzat's coming in to shoot. So what's his first movement's going to be?
He's probably going to throw that knee.
He's probably going to either throw that knee or he's going to move side to side to take away that opportunity for him to shoot. He's going to keep it off. He's going to try to keep himself off the center line, preventing the ability for Hamzat to shoot. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. I think
we've been wrong before.
I think that, you know, I think that McKee wins if he catches him with the knockout, something fast, something early. That's the only way he wins, I feel like.
I agree.
I have Chimaev taking it by submission in round 2.
All right. So we're even on all of our fights through the main card so far. Did it start of the main card yet?
Yeah, we've.
Oh man.
I honestly cannot believe that now.
No, that's pretty wild. I don't think we've been this even on any of our cards yet.
No. We haven't. We definitely haven't. So then the next fight that we go on to, this one is Alex Oliveira versus Peter Sabata. Alex Oliveira, he's a cowboy. So he's another guy that's been around the UFC for a little while. He had a little bit of a struggle there for a while, but now he's coming back with his recent win. It's a split decision win over Max Griffin. And he's going against Peter Sabata. And Peter Sabata, he's another guy from Germany. He's 17, 6-1. He's 33 years old. He's a welterweight. He's 6 feet tall. And he's been fighting in the UFC for a little while here. He's been fighting since, I think, 2015, 2014 was his first fight in the UFC. Mm-hmm. He's been up and down, but he has a couple of good wins. One of his wins was actually Nicholas Dalby.
Yep.
And he also has a win by knockout over Ben Saunders with the knee.
Yeah.
And Ben Saunders is the king of knees.
Yeah. And so, and what's interesting about that is Sabata's a ground game. He's a ground guy.
Yes.
He's a submission artist. And
he has 10 wins. So he has 10 wins by submission.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Sorry, I just cut you off.
He's a submission guy.
Yeah.
So it's really wild when he goes in there and he's able to knock out, a kickboxer.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But he does have 5 knockouts overall on his record. So he has that going for him. And, like I said, he's got some good wins there. He's got the better stretch going on here. If you look at their records right now, as far as his last loss is to Leon Edwards.
Yeah, but that was 2 years ago. He hasn't fought since March of 2018.
Yeah, that is true.
So that's a question mark.
That is true. But if you look at it, Alex Oliveira lost to Nicholas Dalby, right? And as I just showed you, Peter beat him. Mm-hmm. So there's some... Obviously, MMA math doesn't work out like that.
Not always.
Doesn't work out, but that's the most recent performance.
You can gauge it.
That's the most recent. Actually, his most recent performance is the win over Max Griffin, but that was a split decision win. And he hasn't been that far up lately. He struggled in all those fights. They've all been close fights.
Yeah, all his fights are usually pretty close.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he's a guy, Alex Oliveira. When I first came on to him, I think it was in his fight versus Donald Cerrone.
So, Cowboy versus Cowboy.
Yeah, so the first time I heard of him, I didn't like him because he was nicknamed Cowboy, right? And I'm like, no, there's already a Cowboy in the UFC. You got to change that, dude.
But it fits him.
But his personality, it works. And it grew on me. And then when Cowboy and him fought, it just made sense.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was a fun fight, and they both respected each other, and I really liked it.
One of those things sidetracking here, but one of the things I really like about Cowboy is they've built a lot of character fights around him. Yeah. Cowboy versus Cowboy. American whiskey versus, or American beer versus Irish whiskey.
Yeah.
So they found these different ways to try to tie in these stories with him. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But let's get back on track here.
But, when you go back to Alex Cowboy Oliveira, man, I became a fan of his after that Cowboy fight, even though he lost the Cowboy fight.
Yep.
He's a kickboxer.
And that fight was a long time ago too.
It was a while ago, a few years ago.
Yeah, 2016.
Yeah, I mean if you look at his record though, he's fought since he's been in the UFC. He's fought just about everybody in the 170 division.
Yeah, he beat Carlos Condit actually with
a really good fight.
Yeah,
that thing was back and forth.
Yeah, well he beat him it was a guillotine choke, right?
Yeah.
So he caught him in a submission. Carlos Condit's known for having really good submission defense and really good submissions.
Yeah, and that fight was a good one, man. So. You look at him, he's a Thai guy, but he also knows a little bit of BJJ. I think currently right now what I read was he's a blue belt in BJJ. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he's got, a little bit there. And then he's also a pretty solid wrestler. So he's kind of a well-rounded guy, not like super great anywhere, as we can tell by his record.
Yeah.
It kind of happens, And with Peter... Like I just mentioned, he hasn't fought since 2018 in over 2 years. So there's a lot of question marks around.
Anytime that there's a layoff like that, there's always going to be question marks. Mm-hmm. We've seen some guys that have come back after longer layoffs and look pretty good. Better. Dominic Cruz sometimes. He comes right off of layoffs and goes right fighting into title fights and stuff like that.
He's used to it though.
Yeah, he is used to it. But you get those guys that come off those layoffs and then they look really good. Conor McGregor, when he came in and fought Donald Cerrone most recently, he had a fairly long layoff. I don't think it was 2 years.
About a year, I think, on that one.
It was a decent sized layoff, especially for a guy that likes to stay as active as Conor McGregor likes to stay. Based off of what I've seen as far as the records are concerned, he did have the long layoff. But I ultimately feel like Peter Sabata is the better fighter here.
I think he's better on the ground for sure. He's a Dean Lister BJJ black belt.
Yep. Yep, but if you look at him recently, and it's hard to say recently, most of his wins in the second or in the later half of his career were either a knockout or a decision.
Yeah.
I don't know when his last submission win was. His last submission win was actually 2015. So while he does have a good ground game, that's not been what we've seen lately from him, and I kind of think that he's going to end up winning a decision.
You got so you're taking Sabata with the decision?
Sabata by decision.
Okay. See, that's where we finally have one where we're separated.
Oh, shoot.
Because I've got Alex Oliveira by decision, baby.
Woo!
Just because. And I think if you look at Tapology.
Just because?
Yeah, just because. No, if you look at Tapology right now, Oliveira's 85% out of 1,054 picks to win this fight. I think about a third of them have him by knockout. There's a little large margin there, even picking him by submission, which is interesting. I don't know that he's going to be able to submit Dean Lister black belt.
Well, you know, there's levels.
Things have happened.
There's levels, and I've seen crazier things happen.
Yeah, things happen. But I mean, the odds right now, Oliveira's a minus 185 favorite.
Yeah.
And you're looking at Sabata's a plus 150 dog. Might be one for you to throw something on.
I might already have some on it.
Oh, there you go. So, but we finally have our first pick where we're actually opposite on.
There we go.
For me, I couldn't bring myself to pick Sabata based off that 2-year layoff because I don't know what we're going to get with him.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
That is true. You never know what happens with those layoffs. I mean, you look at guys like Muhammad Ali, not saying that they're on the same level, but Ali's best years were probably spent out of the ring, dealing with legal stuff with the federal government. So, that's something that people have talked about a lot with boxing. So then we move on to the next fight. This next fight is going to be a fun fight. This one is Paul Craig, the Bear Jew, versus Gadzi Murad and Tigulov. Yeah, I know, it's funny. Paul Craig is from Scotland. He's 32 years old. He's 12-4-1 as an MMA fighter, and he's 6 feet 3 inches tall. So he's going to have the height advantage going against Gadzi Murad. Gadzi Murad, he has 20 wins and 6 losses. He has no draws. He's coming out of Russia, 33 years old. He's 5 feet 11 inches tall, so he's the shorter guy here. What do you think about these guys?
This is another fun fight for me because both of these dudes are ground fighters.
Yeah.
Both these dudes. They have 26 combined submission wins.
That's awesome.
It's kind of goes back to, we were looking at it, the last card we just did with Joel Alvarez, I think it was, and Todd Duffy, or Joe Duffy.
Yeah, and Joe Duffy. We just
talked about a lot of combination combined wins there with submissions.
Yep, I think theirs was 24.
24, I think is what I said.
24.
And we're at 26 with these guys.
Yeah.
And Tigulov has 15 of those wins by submission.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it's kind of there. Paul Craig, he's had an up and down career, but I do really like his nickname, the Bear Jew. It's one of the more unique nicknames we've seen out there.
I love it.
No, I think it's been almost a year. I think 8 months for Craig and like a year for Antigulov since they've last fought, something like that. It could have been 8 months for Antigulov and a year for Craig. But it's been a while for both fighters, so they're both coming in after a little bit of a layoff there.
Yeah, it's been about a year for Antigulov.
So his striking with Craig, what I've actually liked over his career is he's actually improved his striking a lot.
Yes.
Before he was kind of really relying on his submissions, and most recently he's actually looked like he can hang a little bit on his feet there.
Yeah, he's gotten better, that's for sure. Like you said, he's had an up and down career inside the UFC. He's never put back-to-back wins together inside the UFC. His last fight was a close fight. It was a draw to Mauricio Shogun Rua, who fights later on in the card. But, his losses come to guys like Alonzo Menefield, who's
Khalil Roundtree.
Yeah, Khalil Roundtree. He's got some decent losses in there. I don't really think that he has any super good wins inside of the UFC, though. He does have some submissions. He has that armbar win over Luis de Silva. He's got some submissions in there. He's got a triangle choke, but he's also got some TKOs in there that he's done where he's knocked some people out with some punches.
Yeah.
Like you said, he's gotten better all over the place. Then he goes against Gadzi Murad, who's on a 2-fight losing streak in the UFC.
Yeah.
He's only 2-2 overall in the UFC. But, so I think that if you want to look at who's fought the tougher competition, it definitely goes to Paul Craig.
Yeah.
But, like I said, he's got 20 wins overall. God's Murad, so he's got 20 wins overall, and 15 of those, like you
submissions.
said, 15 submissions.
Well, and like you said before,
this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, like you said before, though, it's really hard to gauge Russians in terms of like their competition that they fought, because they have so many good fighters that come out of Russia. And they're probably putting some of the best fighters out right now.
Definitely are.
So it's really hard to gauge that. He is coming off the back-to-back knockout losses.
Yes.
He's super sloppy with his striking.
Yes.
If you've watched any of his videos, he's kind of like a bull. So he'll put his head down and just run at you
and
swinging.
Get in and try to get you to the mat.
And he wings. And then, he's going to try to get you down. That's his whole... He doesn't even care. He's going to run at you swinging.
Yep.
Maybe he knocks you out, but he's going to get you down to the mat. He's going to get hit in the process, though. And that's how he's got knocked out.
Yep. Well, we'll see what happens. Being knocked out twice in a row is hard to come back from. The good thing about it is there has been some time in between them. So it's not like they were back to back where they were hit. Like
his head's had some time to heal.
Yeah, he's had about a year in between each of those fights, and he's had about a year since that last one anyway, too.
Yeah.
Paul Craig, there's not a big threat of getting knocked out.
No, and I agree. And that's kind of where I was going to go with my next point, is that based off what I've seen from Antigulov and Craig, I just don't see Craig posing that knockout threat to Antigulov.
I don't think so either. I mean, their combined records are like 40-something, but their combined knockouts is 2.
Something like that.
So,
but, I just don't see Craig posing that big of a threat in terms of the knockout. I don't know if he's...
It's 5. It's 5. Their combined knockout wins is 5.
5. I don't know who's better on the ground. Like I said, it's really hard to gauge based off of, the competition they've faced. For me, I think that Antigulov actually looked better on the ground.
Yes.
And when I was watching his fights, he actually looked better on the ground.
Yes.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'll let you say who you got first. Let's find out what you got.
I got Antigulov with the submission in round 3.
Okay. Round 3 sub. Not bad, not bad. I don't even know that it's going to make it to round 3, to be honest.
Oh, we'll find out.
So, I said Paul Craig's striking has gotten better.
Yes.
But he still gets hit a lot.
He still gets hit
It's
a lot.
not great. It's gotten better from when he started. So if we started out, his striking was terrible when he started.
Getting better doesn't make it good.
Right.
It just makes it better.
It means it's better than what it was.
Yeah.
And even though Antigulov, I don't like his striking, he's a bull, and he wings, and he's coming at you, and he throws everything into those punches.
Yep.
I think he might land one of those wild-ass punches, and I think he puts Craig away in the first round with a knockout victory.
Way. Well, I mean, Craig has been knocked out, like we just talked about.
Well, so is Antigulov.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, I think Antigulov has the knockout power. He just is more comfortable on the ground. I don't know that Craig has the actual knockout power.
I do think that Paul Craig is a more fun fighter to watch, though.
He is more fun.
I like watching him fight, but I just can't give it to him this time.
Nope.
So I got submission round 3. You got knockout round 1. So, and we both have the same guy winning again.
Yeah. So right now, I mean, we're through that. What are we, halfway through the main card?
Yeah, right now.
We're even with one fight
that's different. That is so crazy. I know.
I'm interested to see how the group picks.
I know, right? This will be crazy.
This is gonna be a little weird, because the last couple weeks you and I have been almost polar opposites on all our picks.
Yeah.
So now we're right there. It's really
there.
bonuses that are just separating us if we're talking about the way they win.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Carla.
Yeah, Carla Esparza versus Marina Rodriguez. So Carla Esparza, she is an American. She's 16-6 overall. She's 32 years old. She's 5 feet 1 inches tall, and she's going against Marina Rodriguez, who is from Santa. Blah, 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 blah. Fuck it. She's going against Marina Rodriguez, who's from Brazil. She's 33 years old. She's 5 feet 6 inches tall, and she's the slight favorite in this fight. Tell me what you think about these.
Yeah. Well, I actually kind of really, really, really like Rodriguez in this fight. I think, with Esparza, she's on a 3-fight win streak, so she might be a little bit comfortable going in there, She's got some good wins over some tough competition. You know, I think she's going to try to be looking to get this fight to the ground versus Rodriguez. Rodriguez is a kickboxer. I think she's got that Thai style. She really likes to get to the clinch and use her knees. Looks like her bread and butter is getting a fight to the clinch and use her knees. And I think that Esparza is not going to have a problem going to the clinch with her. So that might be her downfall. But...
Well, because Esparza, if you remember, she was known for being a wrestler. And being able to be a bull to people towards the later half of her career, she's had to become a lot more technical and add other tools to it. She can't rely on just her wrestling anymore.
No. And the issue she's going to have is Esparza's 5 feet 1 inch tall, right?
Yes.
Okay, Rodriguez is 5'7".
Yes.
So she's going to have that height advantage, probably has the reach advantage if we pull her stats up.
Yeah, she has a 2-inch reach advantage.
So she's got 6 inches in height, 2 inches in reach. I think she's going to be able to pick her apart if she wanted to, but it's not really her style. She likes to get in on that clinch. It doesn't matter.
She loves that clinch because she trains Muay Thai. You know,
and
so
that's her bread and butter.
Even if she stood back a little bit, even if she didn't get that clinch, she's still going to have the advantage on the striking.
She should.
Yeah, I think that the Cookie Monster's not going to really have any advantage anywhere besides trying to get it to the ground and beat her up on the ground. If you look at their wins, though, Carla Esparza is having a resurgence in her career. So
that's what I mean.
She recently just beat Michelle Watterson.
And Alexa Grasso.
Yeah, and Alexa Grasso. So she's having a resurgence, but then she's running into Marina, who just went to a draw with Cynthia Calvillo, who's a monster.
Calvillo did lose to Esparza.
Yes, but that was a little bit earlier. That was a little while ago. Also, you know, she has that win over Tisha Torres, who just looked great in her last fight.
And a draw with Ronda Marcos.
Yeah, and a draw with Ronda Marcos. So she's got some good fight. And it's hard, when you look at these fighters that they've fought, it's actually hard to match them up right now because they're really, really close.
Yeah, I think it's close. I just think the advantage goes to Marina, especially when you take into consideration the takedown defense.
Yes.
Marina looked like she had really good takedown defense. Especially, I believe it was the fight with Calvillo. It might have been the Tisha Torres fight. Marina just looked pretty solid all around.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know that Esparza's going to be able to even get this fight to the ground.
No, I don't think that she will. I think that Carla's going to become a little bit of a punching bag.
Yep.
I think that anytime she does come in close, like we were talking about with that Plum, she's going to get hit. She's going to get hit with some elbows. She's going to get hit with some dirty boxing. She's going to get frustrated on the feet. She won't have the ability to close the distance without getting hit based on the reach advantage, the height advantage, the better striking. I go with round 2 TKO. Marina Rodriguez. What do you think?
So I've got Rodriguez by decision. I don't know that she's going to be able to put it away. And like I said, she doesn't throw a lot of volume, and that was kind of my issue. But if she gets it in that tie clinch and Esparza can't get out, that's going to be a good night. So
yeah. I'm pretty excited about that. But then now we move on to this fight. You know, so I don't really like a ton of heavyweight fights. But when I get some legends out there, you know, this is awesome. Like, if you don't think Fabricio Verdum's a legend, there's something wrong with you. That guy's gone everywhere, done something, beat everyone.
He probably has one of the best heavyweight records of all time in terms of who he's fought and beat.
If you realistically want to have an honest conversation about who the GOAT is, he has the best argument for being the GOAT.
Yeah, he's right up there.
He has the best argument for being the GOAT at heavyweight. So that's Fabricio Verdum. The problem is he's running into Alexander the Mauler Gustafsson. So this right here is a former world title challenger. I felt like he beat John Jones in their first fight. For the people who don't know a lot about them, we'll just kind of break down the stats. They're more popular fighters. They've been around for a long time. But let's get the information out there. So this fight's at heavyweight. This is important to note. Alexander Gustafsson's coming up to heavyweight for his debut.
After retirement, because he did retire for a little while there.
He did retire.
He's making his UFC heavyweight debut.
For me, I'm always more of a fan of seeing guys move up.
Yeah, why not?
You see me talk about it on the show. I think that moving up is a better sign for your career than trying to move down. So him going up in weight, it actually has me excited. I'm excited to see him be able to pack a little bit more behind that punch. I'm excited to see him not have to dehydrate himself and be able to just walk out to the scale, no problem, be full fresh the next day he goes out there to fight, and see what he can do with his body at 100% without being dehydrated or anything at all. They're both on 2-fight losing streaks, though. So they both really need a win. A win for Fabricio Verdum puts him back up there in that top 10 again. A win for Alexander Gustafsson automatically throws him in that top 10, I believe. What do you think?
So for me, I think, if Gus pulls a win out over Verdum, he's got to, just based off his name alone and what he's done in light heavyweight and who he's fought, with Dan Cormier, Anthony Johnson, who also competed at heavyweight, John Jones, all those guys.
Isn't it crazy, though, that Gustafsson has the 1-inch height advantage?
A little bit.
He's 6'5", and Verdum is 6'4".
He was tall, and John Jones, though, is 6'4".
Yeah.
And, John Jones, I think the issue that John Jones ran into in that fight when they fought the first time, a lot of people try to blame it on his toe, and his toe was healing because he tore his toe in that Chael Sonnen fight right before that.
But it was a dislocation, so it's not that bad of an injury.
What I don't even think that really played an impact in this fight. It was healed. Yeah. Okay? I think what John ran into for the first time was somebody who matched up with him equally in size and athleticism. And Gus actually took John down, and I don't think John was ready for that. No. So I think that's what threw him off. As you saw later in the fight, though, John kind of found his groove.
Well, John talked about how he was living that party lifestyle and wasn't training a lot, so there's also that potential thing there. But that could also be an excuse, right? Everybody can make excuses about whatever they want.
Anything after the fight. Yeah, so I mean,
so if you look recently,
he shut the doubts down in the second fight, though. So
Alexander, that's true. Alexander Volkov beat.
That was 2018.
Fabricio Verdum in 2018. He beat him by TKO in round 4.
And then after that, did Verdum, when did he, because he came back, this most recent one, because he was out for about a year and a half. Was that a steroid suspension? Because I know he got suspended. I don't remember if it was for steroids, but I'm pretty sure
it was probably.
I think he popped something with USADA. Let me find out real quick.
Yeah, he was. His other loss though comes to Alexei Oleinik. Okay, yeah. So he lost to Alexei Oleinik. It was a split decision. It was a close fight.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like he was out of it. He does have that win over Marcin Tybura, who's looked great. And then his other most recent win is Walt Harris. He submitted him by armbar in the first round actually. So he's still a dangerous threat everywhere.
Yeah. So he did get suspended in 2018 for failing a steroid test by USADA. Tested positive for trenbolone, and its metabolite epitrenbolone. So I don't even know if I said those right. They sound right.
Yeah, it sounds like a steroid to me.
But yeah, so he did come out from that. He tried calling it a misunderstanding, but
well, I'm sure there was a misunderstanding.
Anyway, to get back into it, so Verdum did come off of a steroid suspension for that last one.
Yep.
And he's a BJJ guy. He likes it on the ground. His stand-up looked better later on in his career, too. He was another one of those guys whose stand-up actually looked better. When it comes to Gus, though, he is a stand-up fighter. That's his style. He likes to box, get in and out, real light on his feet. I'm interested to see how he does without having to cut weight. Yep. I'm interested to see how much power he has. Because, when you watch that fight against Glover Teixeira, that one kind of dragged on a little bit into the later rounds, but Gus just beat the hell out of him. Yep. And I think he landed 3 or 4 uppercuts, just boom, boom, boom.
Gus has some of the most fun, crisp, clean striking to watch.
Yeah.
And the guy's like a giant. So it's crazy to watch what he does and how well he moves. And like we talked about earlier, in this fight card, there's a lot of guys that are fighting at heavyweight that move really well. So I'm really excited about this whole crop of guys that they're bringing into the UFC right now to fill out that heavyweight division. For me, the heavyweight division sucked. I haven't been a big fan of it.
Looks like it's moving on,
but with the fighters that they're bringing in, man, it could be turning back around.
Keep an eye on that guy.
Yeah, he's a monster. For this fight, though, I'm actually going to end up going with Alexander Gustafsson.
Okay.
I think that Alexander Gustafsson has too good a striking. He showed that he's very hard to take down. I think he's gonna end up going to a decision with him.
You got a decision?
Yep.
All right. So with Verdum's becoming an old man and all, 41. One fight, I think. When was his last fight?
His last fight was...
Was that a year ago?
No. Verdum? No, he just fought. May 2020.
Okay.
So he just fought, and
Gus
he lost.
Is a year ago.
He lost by split decision. This was on the Ferguson Gaethje card.
Yeah, that's right.
He lost to Oleinik by split decision.
Oleinik's
still a good fight.
And Olenek's real good.
Olenek's real good.
For me, I've got Gus winning, but I think his boxing is just too good.
Yes.
I don't know that Verdum's going to be able to get it down. I don't think Verdum's really going to catch him. He's not one of those guys like an Anthony Johnson that's just going to fucking hit you and knock you out like he did with Gus.
Yep.
You know, I don't. But Gus did get tapped out by Anthony Smith.
Yes, he did.
So there's
but
that
Anthony
one.
Smith also fought for a world title himself.
Anthony Smith was another title contender.
he did pretty good. He did a lot better than people thought he was going to do. A lot better.
Fight probably could have been stopped there.
Well,
pretty early. He was taking some punishment in that one.
Yeah, he didn't do too bad though. He put up a good fight.
But I've got Gus knockout round 2.
Knockout round 2.
Knockout round 2, baby. I think he's making his heavyweight debut with a bang.
I think he comes in, he puts on fireworks. I just don't know that he can knock Verdum out. A lot of people have had troubles knocking Verdum out.
Yeah,
but he has been knocked out before.
He has.
You know, but people have had a hard time with it.
He's been knocked out 3 times, never been tapped out.
Yeah, and how many fights has he got? What, 32 fights, and he's been knocked out twice?
3 times.
3 times.
Yeah, 9 losses, 6 decisions, and 3 knockouts.
Yep. That's kind of where I'm going with that decision. Plus, he's older. But, you know, with those older guys, though, one of the things that I would really like the UFC to do is have, like, a Legends weight class, right? So
I think I kind of talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, in this Legends weight class, this is a personal thing that I really want. I don't think it'll ever happen. I want them all to be allowed to use steroids. You know, I want these guys to go out there and be able to fight till they're 60 years old if they want to.
Come in on their TRT.
I'm serious, man. I mean, some of the funnest times in the UFC were during that time when everybody was using TRT, and we got to see a lot of resurgences from guys. I mean, Vitor Belfort, you know, you look at those guys. Well, now the next 2 fighters, Mauricio Shogun Rua and Antonio Rogerio Nogueira, those are 2 guys that I would love to watch fight for years to come.
Yeah.
For years to come. Like, I pretty much spent my whole life as an MMA fan watching Mauricio Shogun and the Nogueira brothers, you know, and those guys from that era. So right now in his last 3 fights, if you look at Shogun, he's fought Paul Craig to a decision.
Yep.
He beat Tyson Pedro by knockout in round 3, and then he lost to Anthony Smith, like we just said, world title challenger, by knockout in round 1.
Yeah. So
those last 3 fights there, only one of them was, you know, bad for him. If you want to go even before that, he has 3 fights, a 3-fight win streak even before that.
Yeah. Well, the last fight, I mean, he did beat Nogueira already.
Yes.
He beat him in a decision back in 2015. So this is a rematch of a fight that already happened. And for me, you know, it's one of those things, like, I'm glad it's 2 legends going at it, and they're not putting, like, Lil Nog in against someone that's going to kill him. They're not putting Hua in against somebody that's going to kill him.
No, and I like that. I like that.
So
this is a well-matched fight, you know. If you look at Nogueira in his last few fights, he lost to Ryan Spann. Ryan Spann's a monster by uppercut at 2 minutes and 7 seconds in the first round. He also lost to Sam Alvey, or he beat Sam Alvey, sorry. Sam Alvey's his most recent victory. That was May of last year. And he beat him with punches in round 2.
Yeah.
So, you know, but he's been up and down, but he's been fighting tough guys like Ryan Bader.
This is actually his 3rd fight versus Hua. I should have probably said that because they fought before in Pride.
Pride, a long time ago.
Hua beat him in Pride as well, but that was another decision win. So, it's going to be a fun little fight there. I mean, there's history, you know. He's trying to get back on the horse there and get a win versus Hua.
Yeah.
Which
he really
hard.
He really needs to get back out there and get a win. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen. I think that Hua's going to go out there and he's going to win another decision.
See, at 44 years old, that's how old Lil Nog is.
Yeah.
44. Hua's only 38, which is old for him in terms of fight years because he's been doing it forever.
He's been doing it for what, 30, almost 40 or 20 years at this point?
Yeah. And then you look, you know, Lil Nog hasn't fought since May of 2019. And it's just one of those ones that are tough, man. He has 4 knockout losses.
Yep.
I think his age, because he hasn't looked really that great.
No.
In any of those later fights that he's had.
He's a guy that I feel like needs to be done.
Yeah, he should definitely do it. I think what's going to happen in this fight is Hua's going to actually knock him out this time. Hua's going to win the 3rd fight, but I think he's going to put it away this time. It's not going to be a decision win. I think I think Lil Nog's just too old.
I mean, he's still got the power, I would say. You know,
I think he's got the power to do it.
Maybe he does. We'll see. I think he's still got the power, but he was always known for being able to get good power behind those hands.
Yeah, and even if he doesn't knock him out clean, like in a shot or something, I think he'll be able to pummel Hua.
He can use those
or not
leg
pummel
kicks.
Hua, but pummel Nog.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that if he goes back to those old leg kicks that he used to use, he has the ability to keep Nogueira away. And the older you get, the harder it is to take someone down to the ground. Mm-hmm. Your body gets stiff, and that would be Nogueira's advantage, would be on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think Hua's going to want to go there with him.
No. I think that
Hua
could comfortably hang with him.
Yeah.
But why risk it?
Exactly. There's no point.
Your advantage, I believe, and you believe, is on the feet.
Yeah.
So how did you pick it?
I've got Hua by knockout in round 1.
All right.
I just don't know that Lil Nog's going to be able to hang in there.
I got by decision. You got knockout.
Yep. That's another one we picked the same, but different method. Mm-hmm. So let's go to the final fight now.
Yeah, so we go on to the main event. This one's Robert Whittaker versus Darren Till. This is a #1 contender fight right here. These two guys are awesome. So Darren Till, he moved up from 170 to 185. He's already done that and fought a couple of fights.
Just one. He beat Kelvin Gastelum.
Yeah, most recently was Kelvin Gastelum. He's fighting Robert Whittaker, who's the former world champion, and lost it to Israel Adesanya.
Bobby Knuckles.
Yeah, they're both pretty awesome. So Robert Whittaker, he is 20-5 overall. He's from Australia. He's 29 years old, so he's not very old. He's still got a lot of time left in his fight life. And he's going against Darren Till, who, while he's still considered more of a newcomer to the UFC, he's been around for a little while and still only 27 as well.
Yeah, a lot of people know Till from the kickboxing circles and stuff. That's how kind of he had a name coming in, and everyone knew him as this skilled kickboxer.
And just a big guy, a big monster with heavy hands.
Oh yeah.
Darren Till, he's 1-2 in his last 3 fights, whereas Robert Whittaker is 4-1 coming off of his loss, and a bunch of those other ones before that were all title fights.
Yeah.
World title fights.
Yoel Romero twice.
Yeah, Yoel Romero twice. I mean, just think about
Souza,
that right there. Jacare Souza.
Derek Brunson, Rafael Natal.
Yeah, he's definitely got the advantage as far as the championship fight experience, as far as any of this other stuff. Like, honestly, if there was a belt on the line, this would easily be a high-valued pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah.
There's a ton of guys on this card overall. This is a pay-per-view main event fight right here.
Absolutely.
We get it for free.
And we're getting it free.
Oh, yeah. So let's go back into those stats, though. So 6 feet tall for Robert Whittaker. Darren Till, he's 27 years old. He's also 6 feet tall, but he has an 1.5 inch reach advantage at 75 inches versus 73.5 inches. Mm-hmm. And interestingly enough, was it Jorge Masvidal said that the hardest person, and Jorge Masvidal is one of the most experienced guys in the UFC.
Yeah.
Said that the hardest guy he's ever been punched by was Darren Till.
I believe so.
Darren Till. So Robert Whittaker's known for being a heavy puncher too.
Yeah.
Robert Whittaker has great power in his hands. He's a very versatile wrestler, and he can snap that kick up to somebody's head real fast.
Yep.
They're the exact same height, so nobody has the height advantage there. What else do you think? What do you think about these guys?
I don't know that I've seen enough of Darren Till at 185. Okay. I mean, 170, we kind of saw him, versus Tyron Woodley and George Masvidal, but he did beat Stephen Thompson and beat Cowboy, who's undersized at 170. He's got some good wins there.
Well, and Cowboy, at that time, Cowboy
was on a run.
He
was beating people.
Yep.
So
it wasn't Cowboy now.
No.
Not to take anything away from Cowboy now, but
yeah, even then, still Cowboy was a bit undersized. That's why he went back down to 155.
And Darren Till was a bit oversized.
And Darren Till was big for 170, and that's why he's up at 185 now.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens. I just don't know that he's been in the game enough.
Like sneaky enough, crafty enough, or what?
No, I don't think he's been around the top competition enough. So he's fought, like I said, his last 5 fights. You look at that, Woodley, Thompson, Cerrone, Masvidal, and Gastelum, right?
Yeah.
So he's got some good names there.
Yeah.
But all those guys are also smaller guys. Gastelum was a smaller guy. He was a big 170, but he had weight cutting issues.
Definitely.
I think a lot of his issues
came
came down to his diet, though.
Yeah.
Not really being a 185er
No.
that's too big for 170. He
No.
just had eating problems.
Yeah.
So he was a small 185 right now. But Till's still a good striker, man.
A very good striker.
And Bobby Knuckles is another very good striker. But Bobby Knuckles can wrestle.
Yes, he can.
And Darren Till can get put on his back. We've seen it.
Yep.
So, for me, I think with the championship pedigree that belongs to Robert Whittaker, I think Whittaker ultimately is going to be the bigger guy in terms of like overall mass. With the, like I said, the championship pedigree, I think Whittaker's just going to be the better fighter overall. I think he can take it down if he wants to. He can stand and trade if he wants to. Either one of these guys have the power to put it away, and it only takes one shot. So I just think that Bobby Knuckles is too good, man. I think Bobby Knuckles is going to be right back in there for another title fight soon. He's going to get back in there, fight Israel Adesanya. He might be 2 fights away, win this one, maybe another one. We'll find out what happens.
Yeah, we'll find out what happens.
But who do you got winning?
Well, I can't go against my boy Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker, he's a wrestler as well, like we were talking about.
Yeah.
He's a Commonwealth Game champion, or Australian Commonwealth Games champion, I think is what it was. This is part of the reason that it made it so hard for Yoel Romero to take him down.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of people didn't know that, and I didn't know that then, because at the time...
I think that's when we found out that Bobby Knuckles actually had a wrestling pedigree, because we were like, what the hell? Doesn't he have the same tattoo? Or a similar tattoo for wrestling somewhere? I thought one of his tattoos was a wrestling tattoo.
I don't know. I don't remember. But what I remember, we were researching that fight, and we were looking at it, and this was to see who's going to win in that fight, Yoel Romero versus Robert Whittaker.
Yeah.
And then we're like, I don't know. So we're studying them, and then I don't remember if it was me that messaged you or you that messaged me. I think it was me that messaged you, and I was like, dude, Robert Whittaker is actually a national champion in wrestling.
Yeah.
I did not know that he had that good of wrestling. He actually almost stopped fighting for the UFC for a little while to try to make it onto the Olympic team, to represent Australia in the Olympics. He was going to compete one more time in a big tournament for the Commonwealth Games. He was the champion at the time for the UFC, and that ultimately ended up keeping him from competing in the Commonwealth Games the last time. But he has the good wrestling. He's a well-polished champion. He's proven himself against the top guys over and over again.
Yeah.
Darren Till, he's lost 2 of his last 4 fights.
Yep. Those were at 170, though.
They were at 170, and it could very well be a weight-cutting issue.
Could have been. He was a big welterweight.
He was a very big welterweight. One of them was to Tyrone Woodley. Tyrone Woodley was a champ. It's hard to take him away from him. The other one, like we said, was to George Masvidal, who's one of the one of the most experienced guys in the UFC, who's had the best year of his career, knocked several dudes out, and then he just actually put up a pretty good fight against Usman. When Usman just tried to wrestle him, and he did a pretty good job.
He defended pretty well.
He did a pretty good job.
Not well enough to keep Usman off him, but
no. But I mean, overall, those 2 guys to lose to aren't any slouches.
No, it's not bad losses. They're not bad losses.
Especially when you bounce back and you beat Kelvin Gastelum right after that.
I think if Darren Till wins, it's going to be a really big win.
Oh, it's going to.
I think that's going to be.
It'll be a big win for him.
He'll probably be next for.
He will if he
Adesanya.
If he beats him, guarantee you they're putting that next.
But what do you get this fight going? Let's see.
Well, I think that Robert Whittaker is ultimately going to catch him and probably knock him out round 2.
You mother bitch.
You got that one too?
Hold on.
Let me see what you got.
Wait for it. Oh! Dude, the entire card, we have exactly the same except for 1 fight. This is wild.
So the thing that's going to separate us on these points here is going to be who gets more perfects.
Yeah,
and,
the bonuses.
Bonuses. Because virtually every fight but 1, I think it was.
Well, we have 2 or I think we have 2 now, 2 or 3 that are exactly the same for the wins.
Yep.
1 that's different, and then the other ones are all just different finishes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Virtually all but 1 we picked the same fighter to win.
15 fights on this card, 14 of them we picked the same winner.
Man,
that's wild.
That's crazy. Either we're gonna have a really good night or a really bad night.
Yep. So hey, before we go, we got to give a shout out to Jake Smith.
Yeah.
He's getting in there on Bellator this Friday, coming in on late notice.
So Jake Smith, man, he's a Bellator fighter.
The half black attack.
Half black attack.
Vancouver's own.
Or if you want to call him the other thing you can call him is the half white delight. So he goes both ways. He's half black, he's half white. So he's got those fun nicknames. Really excited about watching him get back out there and fight again. He went out there and he knocked out a dude in his first fight in Bellator. The last one didn't go his way. He got out-grappled in that one. But he took this fight on a week's notice. I'm super excited to see him get back out there and knock some people out. He's a guy that puts people to sleep. He's a future star if he just stays with it and keeps doing what he's doing. Jake Smith, man, you got this.
Yeah, we're excited. We're excited to see him get in there, man.
Jake Smith has a great team that he practices with. He practices with guys like Chael Sonnen.
Yeah, he's over there at ATT Portland.
Yep. Chael Sonnen's one of his main practice partners. He practices with another tough guy named Ryan Walker. He practices with Brent Primus, former Bellator champion.
Is Brent still there?
I don't know if he's still there, but
he did train with him before.
So I mean, he was there for a long time with them.
Yeah.
It's exciting to see him go on. We were on the same high school wrestling team together, and he was a chubby guy. You could see it by looking at it. He's lost a lot of weight, and he's gotten himself into really good shape compared to what he was.
He was on Twitter before because people were talking shit about stretch marks or something with him because one of his fights he had stretch marks, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, I was big and I got little." Yeah. So fucking what? You're a piece of shit. And like he was calling people out. It's funny.
Well, you know what? He's fought all over the place.
Yeah.
He's fought up at 205 pounds. He's fought at 185 pounds. He's fought at 175 pounds. And he's fighting at 155 now. It just goes to show you where he was.
Putting in too.
Yeah, he's put in a lot of work. He's lost a lot of weight. And he's got wicked hands. For a guy that started out as a wrestler, he's got wicked hands. He's got good movement.
Good power.
Super excited for him to get out there and knock somebody out. Jake Smith, we're pulling for you. Kick some butt,
buddy.
man. That'll be awesome.
Vancouver's own. Let's get it.
Yeah, but you know what else, you guys? It's getting kind of close to that point.
Yeah, man. You guys got your cans ready? Get your cans ready.
Before we get our cans crushed here, we want to remind you guys, make sure you like our show. Subscribe to our channel. Go and follow us on
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We're everywhere.
Anchor.fm/crushingcans. Make sure you're listening to us there. Take us with you on the road, you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, you ready to crush these cans?
Yeah, let's crush these cans.